Hello love, so this is a makeup tutorial. If you want to know how I achieved this look, stay tuned and watch till the end. Hi, my name is Golden Dagong and this is my YouTube channel. If you're into beauty, this is your place. So I am going to show beginners how to do their makeup. First, I usually start from the brows, and before that you want to make sure your skin is well taken care of. And with the brows, I start by brushing them upwards and outwards, and then I make a shape that I like. You can see how I do this. A detailed tutorial of how I do my brows is on my Instagram and my TikTok. After making the shape I love, the second thing is, and you can see I made the shape using a black eye pencil just to outline it more. Then I fill the brows using a brown eye pencil just so that it cannot shout. And I'm going to use a brush again to brush the hair and the shade so that they can match and look more natural. The second step is going to be cleaning the brows. You can't leave your brows like this. Come on, we all know that. We're past that. So I guess my concealer was lost and I was looking for it. Yeah, so I usually use a concealer that is lighter, a shade lighter than my skin tone, or 2 shades lighter to clean my brows. And you're going to use a flat brush that I've just shown you, more of an angled brush. Unaweza enda kwa any beauty shop and ask for an angled brush. And then I'm going to clean the brows from the beginning to the tail. I don't want to use like strong makeup terms, just so everyone can get what I'm saying. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm cleaning the brows by just flowing with the shape that I already made. I'm not digging deeper or like going outside the shape. Yeah, so you want to start from the lower part of the brows and then head to the upper part of the brows. When you get to the upper part of the brows, make sure like you are reducing the brows, the size of the brows. Yeah, just so that they can make sense. And remember, brows are not sisters. They're not twins. They can be sisters or cousins. And I usually blend the concealer using my fingers because it's more convenient and it's more accurate according to me. That is, I don't prefer blenders or brush. Yeah, and at this point I don't need to blend it much because I'm still going to use some products on my face that will help me blend it out. But for a beginner, you can even just do your brows and do your lips and you're done. So you need to blend that concealer. The second step is preparing your eyelid for the eyeshadow. And I usually use a concealer. You can use eyeshadow primer or eyeshadow base, your choice, but I prefer usually using affordable products or like doing simple makeup. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my concealer to prep my lid, and I'm just going to blend the concealer using a sponge. You can't use a brush at this point. Okay, if you're a beginner, you can't use a brush because it's going to be messy. Yeah. So the reason why you use a concealer to prep your lid, or the reason why you need to prep your lid, is so that the eyeshadow that you're going to use may sit on your face and not move and not crease. So I am going to use a brown eyeshadow. I usually like natural looks. So I'm going to use the brown eyeshadow with a round brush just to pat it all over my lid, as you can see. And this tutorial I was going to use one eyeshadow shade and not 2 or 3. So just follow up on this. And this look, you can have this look any day, anytime. At work, your birthday party, your wedding. It's a simple look for every occasion, I guess. Unless you're extra, but I'm usually not extra with my makeup. So that's that. The next step is eyeliner. Yeah, this is usually trouble for some. I'm not a fan of eyeliners, but I just did it for the video. Yeah, so I usually just use simple products for my eyes. Like, I don't do too much. Yeah, because I like looking not natural but like subtle. Yeah. So after the eyeliner, I'm not going to use mascara yet because I'll be spraying my face. So the next step is a primer. Primer is going to help me have a smooth base, and at the same time it's going to prevent the makeup from getting into my skin, because ukifanya skincare you don't want to destroy your face. You don't want to be careless with it. The next step, I'm going to use a brighter concealer. After nimeweka primer, I use a brighter concealer to help pop up, or rather brighten my T-zone, or the places that I want to brighten on my face. Yeah, let me just use highlight. I was avoiding using these makeup terms, but I have to. Like, the places that I want to highlight, I am going to use the lighter concealer that I use on my lid, and the one that I use to clean my brows. When you're going for LA Girl Pro Concealer, it's in the shade Fawn. I was using Black Opal, which is a little bit brighter. And as I leave it to sit, I am just going to take another shade of a concealer that is darker, almost close to my skin tone, or even that is the exact tone of your skin tone. Does that make sense? You use it everywhere that you didn't highlight, and you're going to use a sponge to blend all this. If you're using a foundation, then you want to use a foundation first before going on with the concealers, just to make the base more just to make the base more uniform. Yeah, so this concealer may also help you with covering your dark spots. I usually don't like a heavy makeup, that's why I use concealers peke. Yeah, so I had blended that. You can see how smooth that was, and you could see I sprayed rose water before blending. Yeah. After blending the darker concealer, now I'm going to move to the lighter concealer, which I left to sit first so that it can stick on my face kidogo. Concealer usually moves a lot, and so when you're blending it immediately, it's more of you carrying off the product than letting it sit on your face. You can see the way my T-zone is getting highlighted, and the concealer also help you cover your under eye dark circles and just brighten up your under eye. Yeah, and you can see I'm blending this outwards and not like inwards. Yeah, I always prefer using a sponge to a brush because it's easier, plus it helps you control the product. The product haitaenda everywhere. It's more of where you want it to be, that is where it will be. Yeah, so after blending all that concealer, I make sure every part is blended well. It does not have a harsh line. The next step is going to set the concealer, because concealer usually tend to shine when you leave it. You're going to use a loose powder to set it, and I usually don't bake. I just take the powder on a brush, blow it off like that, and then just set. Yeah, I don't bake at all because I like simple makeup. The next step is going to set the darker foundation using a contour kit. You can bronze it up using what you used to call Pond's, but it's a compact powder. So So you can use a compact powder that is your shade or darker. It's more of contouring, but this is bronzing because contour is deeper. Bronzing is just light. Just taking a shade that is same as your skin tone and setting the darker concealer that you used all over your face. And yeah, make sure you set your face. Usiache foundation ama concealer hivo, because you're going to shine. You have seen the small brush that I'm going to use on my nose, and I brush, or rather blend the bronzer or the contour upwards towards my nose. Like, you can just see, yeah, that way, upwards, inwards, and upwards. Don't do too much. As a beginner, you don't even need to contour your nose. And then I'm going to use a blush. I usually use eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, just find a blush that is nice to you. If you like pink, if you like orange blushes, then that will be good for you. With makeup, just use what suits you. Just don't play around with colors too much unless you're sitting at home and learning more. Yeah, and the last step is setting my face. And I just use the Goldie Skin Rose Water to set my face. I usually use rose water. And another thing, I'm going to highlight my face. At this point, I was just playing with my eyeshadow. I used the copper shade. And then the last step was my lips. The last but not least was my lips, which I lined using a dark eye pencil. You can use a brown one. And then I use gloss on top. I use pink gloss first. And then that was that, because I remember I used pink gloss, then a brighter, like clear gloss on top. And the last step again is my mascara, because I don't want to put it before setting my face. And that was that, guys. You can use this look to go to an event, for any event that is. And yeah.